20th Century Fox presents Phantom of the Paradise, a gothic horror story.
What was that?
A beautiful love story. A cinematic odyssey through the rock universe. From Greece to glitter and beyond. The story of a sound, the man who created it, the girl who sang it, the monster who stole it, and the phantom who haunts the paradise, the ultimate rock palace. Phantom of the Paradise.
My music is for Phoenix. Only she can sing it. Anyone else that tries dies.
Phoenix. Phantom of the Paradise.
There really is the Phantom.
Hey, Chad, did you enjoy Phantom of the Paradise?
I did enjoy Phantom of the Paradise.
Sick. So we watched Phantom of the Paradise.
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why? Why, Chad? Why do we watch Phantom?
I guess for like months now, you said?
Years.
Years. He's been trying to get me to watch this movie, and I just kind of...
The way
I don't remember him asking.
Well, it's Chad is a pea brain. But the way I would sell the movie is I was like, okay, Hunchback of Notre Dame, right? Super sick Disney movie, really cool play, all that awesomeness. Faust. Chad had no idea what Faust is, but if you know what the legend of Faust is, Germanic myth about a man selling his soul to the devil, fucking awesome. Phantom of the Opera, 1910, written by an Italian guy. I can't pronounce his name. Dyslexia.
Did it written down?
No, that's...
I was gonna try.
I didn't even... Yeah, I was like... I started to write his name down, and I was like, nah. Because I was like, I don't want to butcher it. I butchered that one chick's name in a previous video, and I felt bad about it ever since. So I was like, all right, picture all that, right? Picture all these awesome old operas and tragic stories set in the 70s, lots of cocaine, lots of cool makeup and costumes, and just fucking sick rock.
See, I feel like before every scene, they had just a table full of Coke that everybody's like, all right.
Or no, they didn't have a table full of Coke. Everyone went to their trailer and was like, I hope no one notices. And then they went to the stage.
And they're like, oh, dude.
Oh, you too? Like Beef. Beef is amazing.
Yeah, he was good.
Beef.
I didn't think he was going to be the way he was when they first showed him.
His name's Beef. But so... Oh, Jesus, how do you even begin this this fucking story? So it begins with like...
The audition, right?
It begins with like an exposition dump.
Yeah.
That explains that this guy Swan won his first gold record at 14 and then won multiple every year since.
Wait, time out. When he sold his soul, was he supposed to be 14 in that scene?
I don't know. Maybe not, because he said he was turning old.
Yeah.
So
imagine like a very vain 14-year-old being like...
Well, it would fit the character of Swan perfectly. But
that makes that even better. Yeah,
he successfully in the 70s he starts the nostalgia wave. So the first band we see is the Juicy Fruits, and they're like a 1950s like
it was catchy as shit.
Doo-wop band.
Oh.
But they're singing about drug addiction and heroin and suicide and like his sister needed an operation, and the only way he could do it is to make the number one hit, but the only way to make the number one hit was to commit suicide on stage. You know, like, so they're singing about it, and like the two backup vocalists are like making the bass player and the guitarist smoke a giant blunt, and then they like fight a dude and rape a chick.
Yeah, it got a little intense. It's like, you're not acting like
but
this
it's
type
like
of
it's like a
people.
dystopian future, but not. It's such a good future. Not good future, good setting.
It's what they probably thought the late 70s were going to turn into.
I feel like it's what they thought the 2000s was going to be if the 70s kept on track.
Yeah.
Because the 70s is like, even the music was great, but the music, like Janis Joplin and them weren't doing heroin because they were poor black people. They were doing it because the poor black people that influenced them did it, and they're cool, so I want to be cool, so I'll do heroin. Like, that's what the 70s... I want to be cool. You know, like, that's the 70s. Fucking even the while he's singing,
Yeah,
he
that was
mimics
cool.
it. You know, like after pretending to stab himself and slice his belly open.
Yeah, all the performances in this movie are pretty solid.
Mm.
Like, this is back when they had like the character actors, so they knew exactly who to pick for the roles.
I
and
feel like they
everything.
picked real musicians.
You think so?
Absolutely. I feel like everyone who was actually like, remember I was like, oh, that guy's got a background in jazz. Because you could see
Yeah.
how he was playing the drums. Like, not the main actors, because like Beef couldn't play the guitar. It was super obvious. But I feel like everyone else, I feel like all the singers could actually sing. I feel like all the musicians could actually play. And then the actors they had were just fucking fantastic character actors.
Yeah,
Like, Beef was amazing.
I miss old movies back then.
Like, what would you say? Yeah, that movie was perfect.
Because what they have back then, it was like the.
I gotta show you Crybaby.
I've seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So you get it's the
Crybaby
same
was
kind of
okay, yeah.
like good vibe of like just a good story with a good musical.
Poor Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp fell hard.
Now Johnny Depp's like, I still want to keep Jack Sparrow strong. I'll play this character at kids' birthday parties and stuff.
it's
It's like,
like-
no,
Johnny, just stop, man.
let's make real movies.
Do what Tarantino did and quit while you're ahead.
Mm,
There's one more Tarantino flick to come out, and after that, he said he's done.
I call bullshit.
I believe him.
There's no way if he makes Star Trek, that's gonna be his last.
No. I don't think Star Trek is gonna be made.
I think he means his last original movie.
I think he's gonna produce Star Trek. I don't think he's gonna direct. And by produce I mean he's gonna be on set going, no. You know, not like that. Like so direct, but not direct.
this is Quentin Barambino. He's
Yeah.
gonna be directing.
No,
this
he'll
movie.
walk in and they'll be like, fuck, Tarantino's on set. I thought he was just a producer. And then he's got the megaphone and he's sitting behind the camera screaming, and they hired some no-name
I
director.
wouldn't be surprised if that's how most producers are.
It's how Spielberg works. It's how
I feel like Spielberg can do that though.
Ready Player One is the ultimate example of Spielberg just being like, no, I'll produce. And
He
then,
directed it.
yeah, but he didn't direct it.
We had his apprentices.
Yeah.
helping with that.
He got drunk in the room, and then when they were like, we don't know what to do, he would walk out and fix it and then go back to the room.
That movie was
Anyway,
okay.
so Swan, right? Greatest musician that ever lived, wants to open up like,
The Paradise.
I guess you could call it a church, where like everyone worships his music.
A cathedral to him.
Basically, it's the building is the Majestic, and I don't know if you know anything about the Majestic. There's a movie made about it.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
No, that's a movie theater. I was talking about the Moulin Rouge,
Oh.
right? That's the musical. Something for the Majestic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, it's that building. But he wants to like make it like a church where everyone just shows up to these like entertainment is the gold.
Mm.
So they show up to fucking crazy shows where crazy shit happens and everyone loves it. And it made me super upset because the last concert I went to see was a bunch of people staring at their shoes and playing very.
Yeah.
There was a guy with an accordion wearing a gas mask, and I was like, fuck modern music. Yeah.
Why?
It sounded like the what's the game where you're the mechanic and you have the cutting rifle that can do the Dead Space. It sounded like the Dead Space soundtrack, and I was like, why am I here?
It's probably like ska and punk bands. They go crazy on stage.
No, they suck.
You suck. A skank, bro.
Yeah.
Get in the circle, Pat.
I hate modern music. I miss 80. Watching this movie made me go, fuck, music sucks now.
Yeah, because it starts off with, what are they called? The Juicy Fruits?
The Juicy Fruits play this song about suicide and drug addiction.
And then, what's his name? Walrus?
Winslow.
Walrus.
Winslow something. I think it's
Yeah.
Winslow Wallace.
But then Winslow comes up and he has his piano after this big, like, extravaganza.
And he's
thing that
playing a
just-
song about, like, remember your friend's eyes, something about death. I think the song is about, like, accepting death in old age. Just being like, hey, you're going to be with all your friends soon. Don't worry. Every song in this movie is about death, which is really weird
I
because
probably like it so much.
because Paul Williams wrote the Muppets movie soundtrack. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to the Muppets movie soundtrack, but it is not about death.
And like the one when Kermit was like, I'm stuck with this pig my whole life.
No, I think this is Kokomo. No, that was Beach Boys. Beach Boys
Yeah.
wrote Kokomo.
I love that song. I don't care what everybody says.
Do you know why the Beach Boys don't own the rights to that song?
Because
He went to the dentist and his teeth were fucked up and he couldn't pay the bill. So he wrote Kokomo and went, "Here you go." And then it became Kokomo.
Imagine being that
he
dentist.
wrote it in the waiting room and just gave it to the guy after the procedure and was like, "Fucking there. Are we square?"
It's funny because he's probably writing. He's like, "This is the most generic."
Bermuda, Jamaica, you know.
It's just so catchy. Those Muppets, man.
I miss the Muppets.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this fucking movie. This movie is kind of like a Muppets movie, actually, now I think about it.
Just nonsense happening.
Because there was a Muppets Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. If anyone knows what the Phantom of the Opera story is, this takes a very fun twist. It adds the Faustian myth.
Does the hunchback thing towards the end when he's like desperately trying to save the girl, and yeah,
They do the cutscene.
I love the scene where you see him running down the hall and it's just quickly following him.
Dude, can we talk about the camera work for 5 seconds?
We could talk about it for more than 5 seconds.
Dude, 74, right? This movie was filmed in 74, and they were doing it felt like a very like 60s film, like 60s indie film, like where it's like experimental camera angles. It felt foreign.
I feel like like 95% of this movie was all handheld.
Yeah, it was a $3 million budget and it only made 18,000 in the box office.
Yeah.
So everyone hated it, but I love it.
I love the soundtrack.
The soundtrack
The songs
is
are great in this
amazing.
movie. They're fucking catchy as shit.
The costumes, the set design.
Yeah, I want to talk about the costumes and all.
But like, let's just talk about the camera work. Remember when he goes to the Death Records headquarters and like all the doors are smaller than they should be, so he's constantly ducking in, and it adds like a weird. Remember when he's walking down that black hallway with the mirrors?
Like he literally, I feel like, puts the camera lower so it looks like the rooms are all
Winslow looks like he's 8 feet tall.
Yeah,
you know. And Winslow's prone when he gets angry, he gets super strength, which is
so stupid.
But it makes sense. He spurgs out, and like normal people are like, "Whoa, hold on!" Like this is a guy who'll poke your eyes out. Like that's how angry he gets. God damn, we're not even out of the first scene yet. So basically, the Juicy Fruits play. They sing that song about Eddie killing himself. When they finish, everyone in the crowd is quiet, and it cuts to a mirror up on a balcony, and then it cuts to a pair of white gloves, and they clap.
I'm surprised they didn't keep the white gloves on in the whole movie.
It was perfect for that framing, though, because it made the person talking to him looking up at him, you know? So the second Swan claps, everyone in the audience starts clapping, and the Juicy Fruits are like, "Fuck yeah, we nailed it."
Yeah, it must have been like a stressful thing. Everyone's like, we gotta wait.
Yeah.
Clap until he does.
Well, the audience was like, "I don't want to clap. If Swan doesn't like it, I won't like it," you know?
You don't want to be square.
Yeah. You don't want to be like the modern music audience. Seriously, how many good bands go the wayside because people don't want to be unpopular? Why is Nicki Minaj popular?
Why is she going to the White House?
Because she called out Biden for being racist. But anyway, yeah, she called him out super hard and no one knows what to do. It's my fucking favorite thing in the world. Yeah. So then Winslow fucking rolls his organ out, which, by the way, to be able to play piano or an organ at the same time, I don't know if the actor was doing it, but Paul Williams did it. So to be able to like play 2 instruments at once with 2 hands is fucking insane. And he plays this really good song, and then it cuts to Swan, and he's like, "Shut up," to the guy he's talking to. The guy's like, "What? The guy's a square. I don't give a fuck." And he's like, No. Listen to the music. Listen to the actual music.
I don't want him.
I want the music. And then the guy's like, "I'll fucking steal it. Whatever. Fuck you." So then Winslow's in the green.
Your Italian, like, accent's awful. We'll fucking steal it. What are you gonna do?
No, you want to know how you do in Italian? You relax on all consonants. You talk out of the side of your mouth, and you always kind of shoulders look down. Just, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Watch The Sopranos. I'm just doing Sil. Gabagool. I could do Polly. I could do Polly where I'm going, oh, that's the boss of the family.
Like looking over, like, did you see something?
Cool it, Chrissy. And then Chrissy goes, fuck you, Polly, you fucking cocksucker. You gotta watch Sopranos. It's actually a comedy.
Yeah.
Sopranos is actually a comedy. If you listen, because they all drop out like in elementary school, so they're all elementary school education, where Polly would be like, snakes reproduce asexually. And they'll be like, what? And they'll be like, yeah, they have both male and female sex organs, which is why when you don't trust someone, you call them a snake, because you shouldn't trust someone that goes and fucks themselves. And they're all like, yeah. It
Makes sense.
But, yeah, exactly. It's the best. It's the best show. Anyway, so yeah, Wilson's in his green room, and what was his name? The guy that wore the stupid Indian jacket?
I don't remember.
Pasquale or something like that.
I remember Winslow,
Phoenix, Swan,
and
Beef. Yeah, those are really the only names you need to remember. So this guy is like, hey, Swan really liked your music. And Winslow's like, no fucking way. And he goes, yeah. So he wants a couple of your songs. And Winslow's like, I wrote a fucking opera.
And he hands him like a fucking 200, 500 page.
And if you know anything, this is like, 4 or 5 hours of music. And he goes, no, you take it all or you take nothing. And the guy's like, all right, Swan will hit you up in a month. And then Winslow's like, okay. 1 month later, Winslow's skulking about Swan's compound, trying to sneak in.
His sneaking in scene was hilarious. So he's just like horribly trying.
No. He goes to the Swan compound first, and he meets the lady at the desk. And he's like, my name's...
turns the thing to his name. Do not see.
And Peter Fonda, fucking... who else is on that list? A bunch of, like, famous actors and musicians. And she goes to him and goes, do not see. And then she goes... Nah, and
next scene's him getting fucking
chased
thrown out of the building.
And by the way, Swan's security guards are just the Hells Angels.
Yeah.
But they wear the Death Records label on their back.
Those jackets are sweet with that
Dude,
logo.
that t-shirt she was wearing, the Death Records is the coolest record label. Like, the Melvins did it. They had a dead crow and it said Melvins. Cool. And I wanted to buy that shirt, but it was limited time only. Melvin. It cuts to Winslow in the record... in I guess the record factory, because he shows up back there later when he gets his and the lady kicks him out and he gets chased out by the guards, so he goes to Swan's compound because obviously that's the next logical step, and he breaks in and he sees like fucking hundreds of women all trying out to sing the song he wrote.
It really was, because it was like staircases full of women.
Yeah, and they were all whores except for one. Phoenix, which is a whore's name, but
what are you gonna do?
She wasn't wearing a lot of makeup. It's the 70s. No bra, like 30s. No, she was super hot. There were a couple chicks in line where I'd be like, but if I saw Phoenix, I'd be like, that's my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, that's the girlfriend. The rest of these whores are one night stands. That's the girlfriend.
All right, pork chop, let's go.
But it's the truth. Right though? Would you have dated any of the other women in line?
I'm sure they all have great personalities.
No, because they were all willing to fuck Swan. Because what happens in the next scene? You get Winslow sings his song with her and is like, I'm the one that fucking wrote this, by the way. And she's like, no fucking way, I'll help you go see Swan. So she gets picked to go get raped by the bouncers.
Yeah, and the bouncer guy's like, no, and then Winslow gets thrown out again.
But the door to the rape room was like half the size of a normal door, and they do a slow pan out with like these red curtains.
And all you see is like the fat guy in his boxers hop on.
You see Winslow walk towards the door, and then the two guards walk out of it, and it's like this weird like vertigo shot. And then Winslow gets his fucking ass kicked. And
yeah, he got fucked. He got punched in the eye hard with those glasses.
Yeah, and then
the next scene you see him, it's like
and then
circle.
the guy's like the only way you're getting in is if you're a woman. So he decides to dress in drag, and he winds up in like the rape dungeon where the women are talking about how Swan is watching them at all times. And then the one girl's like, it doesn't matter what you like, it's what Swan likes, and I like blondes. So like the chicks start lezzing out, and then one chick grabs Winslow in drag and goes, hey, can you just hold me because I don't want to do this? And he was all right, you know, and holds her, and they're holding each other, and they're just trying to get through this horrible like rape dungeon.
Ugh.
And then Swan walks in, sees Winslow, and goes, "Get this fag out of here," which is the line.
Yeah.
And Winslow's like, "No, you fucking asshole, you stole my fucking music, man." He doesn't swear at all, but he's like, "You stole my music, I want my music back." And he was like, "Get this guy out of here." So he winds up getting his fucking ass kicked and ditched in the bushes, and then two black cops walk up to him, and it's important they're black because
they're doing the planting of the drugs.
I think because it was 73, 74, if they showed white cops, like, people would get pissed.
So I don't even think that. I think they were literally doing it because supposedly not supposedly, it happened.
Well, it happens all the time.
Back then, all the black people were getting the drugs planted on them. So the director probably thought it'd be funny if
now,
made
see,
the cops black.
you went the other way. See, I went with the racism. You went with the anti-racism. Okay, maybe. We don't know.
I think my way is probably why.
Probably, because this movie's super good, but I thought they were doing a commentary.
Yeah. Well, they could still be a commentary my way.
And the commentary in the sense that, like, the label, the people who made this movie wouldn't let us show white cops planting drugs.
Yeah.
Because black people do drugs, therefore black cops would plant drugs.
Yeah, but I don't think...
We don't know, though. It's the 70s, man. The 70s was a different time. We can't think in that mindset.
Yeah.
That's the secret to history. You can't think in that mindset, so you can't apply your morals to it. You just need to read it as is.
So he gets kicked out, and then he tries to rampage back into the place, right?
No, he gets sent to Sing Sing. Sing Sing. That prison that's notoriously bad for treating inmates.
Let me say, we just watched this movie 2 hours ago, and I can't remember.
Which is why I'm on the show. So he gets sent to Sing Sing, and he gets put in this this Death Record Industries sponsored program for dental health. And they say the best way to maintain dental health is to knock all your teeth out and replace them with metal. Guess what, guys? You want to know why Freddie Mercury was really good at singing and could hit those notes? Because his teeth were fucked up.
Really?
Freddie Mercury was scared to get dental reconstructive surgery because the gap in his teeth is how he was able to hit those notes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because
your lines, how your mouth is, and everything.
It's how your mouth, it's where your tongue goes, it's how the air leaves your lungs. So they knock all Winslow's teeth out so he can't fucking sing.
At least they gave him teeth back.
He can't fucking sing or talk.
Yeah, he could probably sing and stuff. He couldn't talk and stuff after the accident.
Yeah, so they show him in Sing Sing making tiddlywinks. And then he sees the news article that says the Paradise is going to open up playing Faust. His concerto, is that what they call it? No, concerto is not the word. It's some word. You'll see it when you watch the movie.
That's where he rages out.
And he fucking murders a guard, runs over, jumps in a box, goes down the production line.
It was pretty brutal, too.
He beat him to death with his shoe. Runs down the production line, jumps in a box, slides down the chute, winds up in a truck, gets dropped in the middle of New York City.
I love the scene where the box just falls.
Yeah, it just falls out of a truck and he and just starts running. And then he runs to the fucking Death Record offices. The girl's like, no! And he just shoves her. Runs down the hallway. Security guards try to fight him, but he's in Hulk mode, so he traces the security guards out. He destroys a bunch of property, but he realizes the records aren't being pressed here. So he runs to a factory and he starts fucking shit up. And he finds the machine that's pressing the records, so he decides to fuck the machine up. But then the guards bust in and he looks over and his shirt's caught in it and he hits the button to fuck it up, but then it drags him in head first. And he twists, right, and the machine's coming this way, and he's trying to get himself out, and he gets his face pressed with the record
burning.
It just burns like half of his face. And the cool thing about this scene is everyone told him that wouldn't happen because they were using a real record pressing machine and they had like wooden chocks there and like foam and everything. And guess what? The machine just broke through the chocks and people had to yank the guy.
This is while they were filming it, not included. Like, this isn't a movie thing. This is actually when
this is real. Like, they fucked up super hard and had to keep him from literally winding up like his character in the movie.
Ugh.
So he gets his fucking face pressed and he runs out of the factory and he's all fucking deformed and he dives into the river. And then the news says security guard shot him and everything's okay.
Yeah. Fuck that, dude. That would hurt so bad.
So piece of molten metal just burning. It's like
It's not like you can pull away because the other side of your head's being pushed right into
what's
it.
the movie where the Terminator 2 where he throws the guy on the griddle and he lays there for a second and then realizes yeah, that's exactly
Dude,
what
that
it is.
scene was go back
Way
and watch
more
that
over the
soon.
top.
Yeah, it's fucking way
Dude, the
too
first
brutal.
Terminator, he puts his hand through that guy and lifts him up like by his ribcage up.
I still think those movies are near perfect.
I will say Terminator 2 is probably one of the most perfect movies ever made.
I love Terminator.
Next to the 70s thing, 80s thing,
Oh, thing.
Carpenter's thing.
I thought you were just being like that thing.
No, Carpenter's thing.
I still think Black Dynamite's a perfect movie.
This movie and Black Dynamite fill a certain vibe.
These are like, they're not guilty pleasures. They're just,
They're pleasures.
yeah.
When you watch it, you're like, yeah.
It's like, I'm not watching this because I think it's perfect.
I'm
or
watching it
good.
'cause-
I'm watching it because it's fun.
I'm watching it because I know when I walk away, I'll be happy. It's like heroin. Heroin with none of the downsides. Paradise. Phantom of the Paradise. Just that's their selling point. Yeah, so he gets pressed and thrown into the river. Phoenix auditions to be in Swan's chorus, and Swan goes, I'll make you my lead singer if you give me your voice. And then she fucking jams out, and it's super awesome, and she's into it. And
That's where you really see her open up and start to change a little bit too.
she starts becoming
Because she was a lot more
whore.
timid and
She
stuff.
was super, not even timid. She was like smart. She refused the rape. She refused to be
Yeah.
a whore.
And
then
when she started singing, she started letting loose, started dancing,
started
all
doing
crazy.
drugs. But it cuts to Winslow doing like a Darth Vader, like sneaking into the paradise, and he finds his super rad costume, which you can see here. And he just starts like terrorizing the paradise.
Yeah.
He puts a bomb in the prop car
That caught me by surprise.
for the
I'm like,
juicy
where the
fruits.
fuck did he get a bomb?
He
This
built
is
it himself because it's fucking, come on. So he builds himself a bomb and he throws it in the back of the Juicy Fruits cars, who are now the Beach Bums because they need to be relabeled.
Rebranded, yeah.
And when the
Backup singer guy.
backup singer's like, bro, I can't go on stage. I keep hearing, and it does this cool like split screen where like 2/3 of the screen is the Phantom putting the bomb in the car, the girl's being like, I don't want to take my top off, and the guy's like, you need to take your fucking top off, and she's like, fuck you, pig. You know, which is cool. Another thing I pointed about this movie is either women are dumb whores or they're fucking awesome.
Well, it's realistic. Not every girl's gonna be super smart. Not every girl's gonna be fucking super dumb. You have
But
some girls in the middle.
the girls who, like, the majority of there's like what, like 3 whores for every 7 smart chicks, which is really cool because like we've been talking about our last couple of videos we've discussed strong women in film, and just that one scene where the guy's like, take your bra off, and she's like, no, like she
Even the scene when what's her name, Phoenix gets kicked out of the original edition because the guy jumps on top of her, and then the next after that you just see her bust out the door.
yeah, she fights him off and runs out and is like, I'll never fucking do this. Like, it's cool to, like, I guess that's how you would do a woman who's just like, fuck you, but not like stupid jumping out of an exploding train. Not a Mila Jovovich, you know?
I used to love her. Now, ugh.
Oh, it's pathetic.
Now she just does movies for her husband.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Want to make a paycheck this month?
What new video game is popular? Anyway,
Can't believe they made a Monster Hunter movie of her.
yeah. So Phantom puts a fucking bomb in the trunk and gets pushed out on the stage. You know, the Beach Bums are doing their fucking song about drinking beer on the beach. And
Having a good old time.
no, actually their song is about being like a homeless beach bum.
Oh,
Yeah. All the songs are depressing in this movie. And so the one guy's like, I don't want to I keep hearing a tick and I'm freaking out. And then they shove him full of pills, put him back on stage. The 3 of them get on the car. There's all the women on the car, and then it blows up. And it cuts to Paul Williams and he's looking up, and then it cuts to the Phantom up in the rafters, and they make eye contact, and the Phantom runs away, and then Paul Williams goes, Winslow. Like, he knows what's up, because he confronts him later in the red mirror hallway where he rips his mask off.
I thought he gave up way too easily, Winslow.
But he saw himself in the mirror and was like, ah. And remember, he couldn't talk, so he was just like doing like bah, bah, like
Look,
black metal.
You can't talk?
You know, he was just doing black metal. And then, which I thought Paul Williams giving him the ability to speak was really cool of him. But he was doing it for nefarious reasons.
Yeah.
So he basically tells Paul, or Winslow, like, you're a monster, you'll never work, everyone will hate you, but I can give you a voice. I can put your music on stage. Just sign this contract for me. I'll give you a voice. I'll give you music. And he has this giant fucking contract that needs to be signed in blood.
Yeah, that was cool. He just like
and
pricks
then
his finger.
You see him, and then he puts it on the paper and he dips the inkwell pen into it and signs his name. So he signs the contract. He goes down in that weird lair, which actually turned out to be a real recording studio. So I don't know if that was real grass or AstroTurf.
That was a weird scene too, because like they would show him like rocking out on the piano, doing all stuff, and the
trying to
just,
sing,
and it just spins around the whole.
And it's like all these
room.
weird analog, like I know a little bit about how to record.
I would never
music.
be able to
use
any of that.
I was
stuff.
looking at half the shit, and I was like, I looked at that entire scene. I was like, that's a mixer. But that's all I knew, you know.
It's like being an old radio jockey.
Yeah,
to, like figure all that.
And then
stuff
it cuts
out.
to Paul Williams in his fucking like sound booth, and he has the giant switchboard in front of him, and he's fucking with everything and twisting knobs, and he's taking Winslow's like bah voice and like running it through an amplifier to like figure out how to get him to speak normally, and he gets him so he can sing with his original voice, but he speaks with like a stoma, like
he basically is like, when you talk, this is like this. When we hook you up to this,
you'll sing perfectly, and so just write me music, motherfucker. And he was like, okay.
The coolest part about that too is you hear him singing back and talking and everything, and then you hear what's his name, Swan's voice, and it's all like what his voice actually sounds like.
Swan, I like how you can tell when Swan switches to his devil form, because he's more like, no, I don't care if she dies, you know, like because it turns out Swan made a deal with the devil, but that's later.
It's just a slimy character.
It's such a good character though. What about the scene with the locket where she's like, this was Swan in high school?
I thought they were going to go back to that.
I'm 40 years old. No, that's just supposed to like
hammer it in. That's he's old as shit.
Because keep in mind, this audience is 74, so everyone's coked up and like out of their fucking mind.
Yeah.
70s was all heroin and cocaine. It was a sad time.
See, I think I'd want to skip the 70s and just go right to the 80s.
80s was like ecstasy, MDMA, coke, Molly, like party, party, party. I want to have a party.
Everybody was happy.
You ever seen American Psycho? That's the 80s.
Yeah. Happy unless you're on a city street.
Oh, you know what? That's awesome. American Psycho is the 80s movie. Phantom of the Paradise is the 70s movie. Anyway, so when Winslow gets his voice back, the first word he said is Phoenix. Because he wants Phoenix to sing his music. And Swan goes, no. Or yes. And he gives him a bunch of drugs. Then he steals his music. And then he walls him in. And he hires Beef, the greatest musician that ever lived. He's 80s glam before 80s glam existed.
Glam rock's hilarious.
And he's so goddamn gay.
He's introduced like I did not think his character's like what was the first line he said?
It was the swivel chair room where, by the way, Swan has the coolest furniture in the world. He's sitting in the center of a giant, like 80-foot golden record, and he has switches. And every time he flicks a switch, a light comes on, and a different band plays one verse.
That was so cool.
And he goes, nah. Next one, it's like a country guy. Nah. Cuts to like a dude in spandex with an afro and like a Marilyn Monroe mark, and he just like, just like plays like one power chord and screams, and Swan's like, perfect. So then Beef auditions, and he's got his background singers, and he's trying to hit these notes, and he's like, these are for women. And Swan's like, I don't fucking care. And he's like, I'm not doing this song in drag, which is like, Beef, you totally would. Shut the fuck up. And then he goes out on the catwalk and falls on his ass because he's wearing like 8-inch platform heels, and he tries to stand himself back up. And then Swan's like, either you do it or you don't. And then he fucking nails it.
Yeah, he figures out perfectly how to sing and everything.
And he's like, all right, cool. But the Phantom's watching all this happen. And then the Phantom fucking rages and busts out of his confined space and beats the shit out of the guards. And he decides he's going to... He threatens Beef in the shower.
Yeah, Beef's taking a shower, and all of a sudden... You have the cool scene where... Winslow, right? Why do I keep thinking
Just call him the Phantom at this point.
Phantom. He just gets his knife, and I'm like, oh, he's going to stab the shit out of this guy. He just cuts it, and then he just goes, and he's like, yeah!
Yeah, the guy's like, fuck, and he sticks him with the plunger. And he's like, Phoenix only sings my music.
Yeah, because he's freaked out to begin with, because he hears them scream when they're...
when he sees Swan fuck Winslow, or Swan fuck...
No, this is when he got put in the wall.
Oh, yeah, he...
What was that?
You guys hear that? There's some crazy shit.
And then he starts doing coke and jumps in the shower to calm down. And then
he's like a spoonful.
Yeah, because he was just literally going with like a tablespoon, and I was like, well.
Then he puts it all up to his nose. Just goes.
And the best part is, I was like, 1, oh, I get it. 2, my heart's blown up. You know, like,
he has like a little white in his nose.
Yeah. Dude, they don't shy away from the drugs in this movie at all.
Don't shy away from anything. The way they treat women in this movie is awful.
But it's like, that's the music industry.
Yeah. But anyway, the Phantom cuts the thing and threatens him, being like, if I hear you play the song again, you'll die.
If you sing this, you'll die. It's for Phoenix. So Beef gets on his finest Santa robe and gets the fuck out of there.
Is he wearing a Santa robe?
Because he's fucking Beef.
I feel like they gave it like, here's the costumes, pick anything.
Just be outrageous. So he's leaving out the fire escape, and Pasquale, or whatever the fuck his name is, sees him and threatens him and pins him up against the wall, and Beef goes, help, fandom, expecting fans to like rush in and save him. No, it's more like, help, fandom, because he's so gay. He's Beef. He's the best. I can't even actually do his, because my voice is higher pitched than his, so I can't do his like version of like husky gay. I can't do it. He's more like, shit, I'd have to hear his audio to mimic it. But yeah, Beef has the best gay accent ever.
But anyway, when the guy ends up talking him back into going...
No, he threatens him. He says, you get the fuck back in there.
Didn't he like hand him drugs or something?
He's like, no, this will take me down.
Yeah, he's like, you're sped up. He's like, no, well...
No, I'm not sped up. It was the real ghost. And he's like, take these. And he goes, these will bring me down. He goes, take him anyway and get the fuck back up those stairs. And he forces him back up the stairs.
And guess what happens?
They play one of the coolest shows ever.
Yeah.
It's like,
I want to go to a concert like this so bad.
So like the Beach Bums, formerly the Juicy Fruits,
got
folded into the Dead Men with Beef. So they're playing like the opening to like...
The song's rad as shit.
Oh, it's so rad. And they're like reaching into the crowd and dismembering people.
Yeah, they have like the plants in the crowd.
Yeah, they're pulling body, arms, legs, heads. And then they bring it over to a casket and they sew it all together. And then Beef comes out of the casket and he starts fucking singing.
Yeah.
So goddamn well.
Playing the guitar like a beast.
Yep. And then it cuts to Phantom and he has the lightning bolt.
That was so cool.
And he throws the lightning bolt down and it hits Beef and electrocutes him. And he starts like, I can't even remember the scream. I was about to try. He does this like, I don't know, man. Like this good like Angus from AC/DC, but better. Yeah, Angus Young, but better. Scream. And he's getting electrocuted to death while it's happening. The crowd fucking loves
I don't think
it.
It's still part of the show.
And it's like this legendary performance, and then it cuts to Swan, who knows it was the Phantom.
He says,
yep, and he's like, we gave them a show, didn't we? And the guy's like, yeah, but Beef died, and he goes, I don't fucking care, you know? He's like fully demoned, which is then doesn't
the girl comes on
the
stage.
Phantom. No, yeah, the girl comes on the stage and she starts singing. And then the Phantom threatens Swan, and he's like, if you ever put anyone else but her on stage, I'll kill you. And then he's like, okay, I'll put her on stage all you want. In fact, I'll make you my number one girl. That's when he fucks her, which then makes the Phantom kill himself, but he can't die unless Faust dies.
Because in the last page of the contract, it says, if you...
Contract only terminated when Swan is terminated.
Yeah, and it's like, he did just try to kill himself.
And then Swan goes, well, I can't die unless someone else dies.
Yeah, because the Phantom stabs him.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm not going to die. But check this out. As soon as I die, that wound in your chest that you just stabbed will open up. So we're kind of in limbo here. Which...
And that gave him, like, the opportunity to be able to have to find what would kill
which made...
what's the line he says? Like, Swan's like, oh, you're going to try to double cross me or something like that?
You can't double cross me or something.
Yeah, because he thinks he's too smart, doesn't know how to find it and everything.
Because he's been alive for, what, hundreds of years at this point, I think?
Swan?
Yeah. I feel like, you know how Mozart died when he was a kid?
Yeah.
I feel like Swan is Mozart.
No, Swan... Is the devil just controlling Swan's body with the contract?
I think so at this point, yeah. Because remember the spiral staircase? Well, why are you going to marry her if she's going to die? Because it would be a better show. You know, like, I feel like he's full devil at that point.
Yeah.
Because you don't see his head, you just see it from behind.
That was cool.
Yeah, so basically the Phantom figures out the only way he can get out of his contract is and free Phoenix is if Swan dies. And then it cuts to a weird flashback where Swan's in the tub. Oh no, it cuts to the Phantom breaking into Swan's archives, because Swan is notorious for recording everything he does. So he's going through the archives and he finds this video called The Contract or something like that. And he watches it, and it's Swan when he's a young man in the bathtub.
Maybe 14.
Being like, fuck it. I'll never be better. Might as well kill myself. And then he looks in the mirror and he sees his reflection, and his reflection goes, what if I make you young forever? What if you always look like this? Just sell your soul to me. And then Swan goes, fuck it. And he hands him a contract through the mirror, signs it in blood. Swan will live forever as the image in the mirror, which is why the girl who was like, he's looked this way since high school.
Yeah.
You know? And then
but he says if this taping gets destroyed,
I'll die. Because this tape will grow older, you won't. Phantom sees that and goes, fuck this. Runs into the other room, grabs some sort of machine, throws it in the room, blows up the room. Now it cuts to the paradise where Swan is wearing a metal mask because he's going to marry Phoenix live on stage. And it's like a fucking crazy show with women dressed as ravens and everyone's fucking into it. And there's bubbles and confetti. And this guy with a sniper rifle is going to kill fucking...
Yeah, where did that come from?
Swan wanted to kill her live on stage for the audience.
All right.
Because after Beef died,
yeah.
How do you top it?
That's
you gotta kill your wife to be. So the guy gets ready to fucking kill him, and Phantom fucking swings in on rope, and his costume looks super cool.
That was
and
a cool show.
Beats the shit out of the guy with the gun. Right as the guy pulls the trigger, and he shoots the priest. The priest dies. Audience fucking loves it. So they rush the stage, and then Phantom swings down, and he grabs the bird mask off the lady, and in the confusion, Phoenix rips off Swan's mask, and his face is melting, and then it cuts back to the archive because the archive's on fire.
On fire and everything.
So he's dying, like his photo's dying, and she's screaming, "I don't understand." Fucking Winslow runs up and just stabs him in the chest a couple times. But as he's stabbing him, the stab wound opens up on him.
I love how there's like a crowd member that thinks it's part of the show.
So he also starts stabbing him. And then the next guy comes up and stabs him. And then the next guy. And everyone's loving it. And they're parading their dead bodies around. And then Wilson rips off his mask and starts crawling. Winslow starts crawling towards Phoenix. Just like as he's dying. And then she goes, Winslow,
it was you.
I don't understand. And she has like a panic attack.
Yeah, because earlier in the movie he confronts her and he's like, "It's me, it's Winslow." She's like, "No, get the
fuck away from me."
That's when she runs away. And
I
want to
be that. Limo. I'll do whatever the crowd wants. I'll do whatever.
We talk about the fucking scene?
Yeah, where he stabs himself.
No, when he sees him through the window.
Yeah, well, the whole fucking scene. Swan saw Winslow watching and knew exactly what he was doing.
He turned the camera on, so he's just watching Winslow, watching them while she's like,
and watching Winslow freak out. And yeah, so she like freaks out and doesn't know what the fuck to do. Winslow dies, fucking Swan dies, and then the movie ends. And the hell of it, one of the greatest songs ever written, in my opinion, starts playing. Amazing.
Yeah, this movie's soundtrack. Just the visuals and the camera work is ridiculous.
It's funny that you don't remember, but you fought me hard on this movie on many occasions. You were like, I don't want to watch it. And I was like, no, Chad, you don't understand.
All right, I need to be in the mood to watch a musical.
This was such a good one. You weren't in the mood prior, admit it. This movie put you in the mood for a musical.
No, making that thumbnail put me in the mood. Yeah. Like, this movie was so stupid.
Dude,
but it was funny.
It was such a good... It's a funny movie. It's a depressing movie.
The costumes are great.
The costumes, the sets.
I feel like a lot of the costumes are like, all right, this is your character. This is what you have to work with. Go in there and grab what you want.
Dude, there's so many people that looked like me.
The dude just has like a hat.
There was... and the weird black eyeshadow all the bikers would wear.
Those leather jackets and stuff were sweet. I want those.
All the clothes, I was like... Yes,
but the Phantom's mask is crazy good.
And I don't know if you guys know anything about Berserk, but Griffith was heavily influenced by...
And you were saying Darth Vader even.
Yeah, because this came out
in 74.
This came out before A New Hope, and he has the blinking box that helps him talk.
Yeah, and he's doing a...
And during the first person scene, when he's chasing the bikers down the street, he's going... And then what else did this influence? This influenced a bunch of shit as we were like... A Kiss with this corpse paint.
Yeah, we were laughing about how it probably influenced Kiss.
Yeah.
And there was something else I can't remember. What was it, Chris? What was it?
Glam rock with beef.
Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror with the transvestite.
Yeah,
beef.
This came out before Rocky Horror, so I think...
And beef is totally whatever that tranny in Transylvania is.
What's his name?
I don't know. It's not Eddie Izzard. We just read it a second ago.
Oh no, I think Beef is more of the brain dead jock guy character that they introduce in it.
Oh, I don't know. I've seen Rocky Horror once and I didn't like it.
Well, let us know what you guys think.
Phantom's better than Rocky.
I will admit Phantom is a better movie. Better soundtrack.
Better soundtrack.
It's more of my type of music for a musical.
It's a rock opera.
Yeah. It was funny.
I loved it.
It was good. Costumes are great. And camera work was really cool. They had like handheld kind of shaky, but it's not like nauseating. It's where actually like following
the use of red, moves. The use of red lights and red walls and like
every time something bad was about to happen.
It was like this, and you'd be like, okay, so the camera angle's like here, right? And then the room would be like this. So you're looking at a weird Dutch angle of a character walking in and like a red light would come on and the character...
Yeah, the director definitely knew how to work environments. Like they had the budget, so they only had so many like environments to work with. So they're like, all right, we need to make this
We need to make everything look good. And it's like, it's another thing. It's like Evil Dead, where the guy had no money going in and made something amazing. Unfortunately, this got no love in the theaters.
Also, thing about older movies, the less money they had, the more creative they had.
You had to, because you had to make it good, or you'd wind up like a Roger Corman or someone. Which, by the way, Roger Corman has some good ones out there. I don't know who Roger Corman is. I know you don't. I love this movie.
I definitely recommend this movie.
10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, 100 out of 100, 13 out of 13.
As like a cheesy musical, even like this, I can't think of anything really bad to say.
Now, I like Grease, and I like West Side Story, and I like, God damn it, The Producers. I just rewatched the original.
Yeah, but I feel like this is more rewatchability than all of those.
Nah, Producers is actually, rewatch it. The Nazi jokes and the gay jokes in Producers. Like, the whole time you were watching this movie, you're like, ooh, wouldn't fly in 2020.
Oh yeah, the beginning of this movie would have got canceled.
The whole movie would get canceled.
Yeah.
As soon as he goes, no fags. Like, boom, canceled.
Yeah.
The cops planting drugs on people. Boom, canceled.
But let us know if you actually have seen this movie.
I don't think so. Brian De Palma, Paul Williams. It's fucking amazing.
It's great. The music's great. The camera work's great. The costumes.
And we're gonna end on the hell of it.
All right.
Okay.
You already said the hell of it.
Yeah, we're ending on the hell of it, which is, by the way, awesome credit scene. It shows you every musician in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't do that thing where like a musician's in the movie and he just gets his credit. No, they show you his fucking photo and be like, this is the person that sang, you know? I liked that. I like when movies do that.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Watch it now.
Now.